The summertime tradition started 40 years ago in Charlotte with 27,000 screaming wrestling fans. Do, do, do. And we had some tours until Jim Hurt killed WCW, and then we saw the resurgence of this pay-per-view. Do, 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 do. And now NXT has brought it back to center stage at the Great Old Lot, with Atlanta traffic preventing some fans from getting there. Do, 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 do. And wrestlers, they went all out to start the weekend all hot, and some that are not ready for this TV time. I'm John Renton with my review, WWE NXT Great American Bash 2025 from Center Stage in Atlanta, GA. Yeah, I know that the start of the weekend wrestling festivities, I wasn't able to get to it until now because I work. A paycheck's more important. And then I caught Saturday night's main event live and then watched the rest of All in Texas. I was up for 21 hours on Saturday into early Sunday. Forgive me. So, there were actually some decent moments on this show. It was a standard NXT event. Nothing big that occurred, though I was actually surprised by the match I enjoyed the most, even though I really shouldn't have been. So, a tradition that did start at American Legion Memorial Stadium in Charlotte. The 1985 Great American Bash event, by the way, without the David Allen Co. concert, is in full on the WCW YouTube channel, so please check that out. So, I did like how this gave me flashbacks to WCW Center Stage tapings, and we start off with Javon Evans versus Jasper Troy. I have never seen Jasper Troy outside of, I guess, a couple clips, because I have seen a few clips at LFG show, which I didn't really watch. I do like one particular talent from the woman's side there. I'll just say that much. And basically the commentary is from Vic and Corey. Booker T is an absolute abomination of a commentator. He is not good. And he's actively getting worse and worse. Now, he can provide great wrestling insight and provide some humor, and in small doses, he's fine. To me, he's just as bad as Pat McAfee. He needs to go away for a while, maybe for a good long while, do his reality of wrestling shit, or just do like the backstage, maybe not backstage interviews, but do contract signings or do something other than do commentary. You don't need a three-man booth for NXT. So, Javon Evans and Jasper Troy. Jasper Troy is a big lad, and Javon Evans likes to hop and do stuff, and Jasper showed off some good power here. He shoved him over the top, and Javon flew and bounced around like a Super Bowl. He did hit a nice spin kick. He can hit some really highly athletic stuff. I just worry his knees are going to shatter if he doesn't slow down. I know he's only 20, but still. And we got a German spot. We got a big splash for 2. But Jasper came back with a chokeslam. But eventually, a roll-up, 1, 2, 3, outsmarting the rookie, even though Javon has only been on television for a little bit. It was what it was. It was a fine opener. Jada Parker on Evolution 2. And she's just talking about being, I believe, in the Battle Royal, I think. I'm recording this hours before Evolution 2, you'll forgive me. So, Italian family stuff. Stax lost the Heritage Cup. They really should have had 2 Italians fight over it. Then it could have been 2 Italians, 1 Heritage Cup. You're welcome. It still would have been filled with less of, what that cup was filled with rather than this entire... I'm sorry, this Tony D'Angelo family stuff has not worked for me. It has not. Like the breakup and everything. So he mentions a whole bunch of people that could challenge him. He even mentions Coco Beware and Logan Paul's dad and possibly Matt Bloom, a.k.a. A-Train. A-Train's like, what the hell are you talking about? I don't want to challenge you. He's been retired since, 2013, 2014? All right, Sarah Schreiber interviews Sol Ruca and Zarya. My God, what an incredibly talented tag team they are. Incredibly talented. It certainly has... my opinion of them certainly has nothing to do and is not skewed at all because of their looks. Actually, it is to do with talent, but boy, they both look good. And then basically we get more Evolution 2 talk. Zarya then talks about wanting Tatum, or wanting to spear Tatum, or both. I'm not necessarily certain. I don't know why everybody in wrestling is so fucking horny. Sol Ruca with Zarya took on Izzy Dame with The Culling. That's the Sean Spears group, I believe. Because everybody needs a stable, no matter how stupid they are. And Tatum. Tatum has her doll, and Tatum just wants friends. I will say Tatum Paxley has made the most of this crazy character and has made the most of her television time. NXT Women's North American Championship. Okay, I haven't really seen Izzy Dame work that much. I think I've seen her in like a couple multi-women matches because I don't watch a lot of weekly NXT because I only have so many hours in a day and I like to, I don't know, utilize them properly. Plus, I have had to cut out a lot of weekly wrestling because it's just, I can only do the big events. All right, a quick distraction in the beginning nearly caused Izzy to get the pin on Soul, but then that didn't work. They slowed down. Izzy is not bad. She has some good size. She did hit a nice chokeslam off the ropes at one point. She's not bad. Sol Ruca, the only thing I worry about is she is going to blow that goddamn knee out again. And I hope she doesn't. But she is very, very good. It feels more like a high spot match and a gymnastic match, but she is able to put enough stuff together that it seems like it can flow well. Izzy did take, when she took a moonsault, she got, clobbered in the head by Soul's foot. And I'm not knocking either of them, but boy, I was worried. I thought we were going to get a Zema Ion, Jesse Sorensen situation. Thankfully, we didn't. And that wasn't anybody's fault. That's just what happens. But there was a near slip up and then a top rope X Factor, and then we get the top rope chokeslam as I talked about. That was impressive. And a spear, from the ropes. That was nice. We then get Zarya spearing Tatum. It should have been me. I'm just saying that I don't know who would not want to take that from a beautiful Australian woman. And I mean that with respect. Zarya actually does seem like somebody that has fit into her role fine. They hyped her up quite a bit. I think maybe hyped her up a little bit too much. Let her find her groove and her footing and everything, and it'll work out. But Soul Snatcher. That's what I'm trying to say. 1, 2, 3. Good stuff. Despite my botching of the whole goddamn thing. So, we get that going, and then Blake and Jordan are talking about their main event match, and yeah, okay. I mean, it's a main event tag. Ricky Saints against Ethan Page in a Falls Count Anywhere match for the NXT North American Championship, and I will give them credit. They certainly used a lot of weapons. I'm sick of weapons-based matches, and this isn't because I watched this after watching... Saturday Night's Main Event didn't have any of that, but after watching that horse shit before Hangman won the heavyweight championship, this wasn't that offensive, but it still was using too many weapons, like a guardrail and stuff like that. And they went into the stands, they went into the concession stand, they went into the merchandise stand. There was a chair pile. Why in the world did you take the chair spot thing where the chairs were leaning up like that? Why would you do that? I mean, why would anybody do that? You're fucking stupid for doing that. And then, we got an extinguisher spot. We got a rail plex. We got a bomb on the chair pile. A tornado DDT off the ref. And Booker was calling for a DQ. It's a Falls Count Anywhere match. But because he used the rep. Because Booker's a fucking idiot that needs to be just told, you need to find something else to do, you fucking goddamn blithering idiot. And he sounds like a blithering idiot, and he's not a blithering goddamn idiot. He actually knows what the fuck wrestling is, but god damn it. Anyway, bomb through 2 tables and Ethan won. This is what it is. I have not been that impressed with what Ricky has been doing in NXT, but whatever. At least he's doing something unlike being on the sidelines in AEW. And same thing with Ethan. This whole thing needs to end, though. And then Luca Crusifino talks about how Stax is just on social media trying to get clout or whatever, as he's posting a video on Instagram. Read the room or the beach. Whatever. I think Luca Blight would be better off. He would handle things better. That is a super deep cut for video game fans, and nobody else gets it. All right. Ava monitors the contract signing for the TNA Heavyweight Championship 3-Way at Slammiversary. That's being run in a building that holds around 19,000. Last time I checked, they sold 3,000 to 4,000. Maybe don't run a building that fucking big. So Santana comes through the crowd, and then you say his name, and he appears. We believe in Joe Hendry. Clap, clap. He shows up, and Trick gets... I love Trick's theme. I can't listen to it because somebody won't cut Booker's mic. Or possibly the tendon, like, in Pet Cemetery. Mike's probably better. Probably better because then we just hear him screaming like a goddamn banshee. It got the point across because basically Hendry and Santana feel that Trick doesn't respect them, and also Dark State is, aka Temu Shield, or Temu Shield, however the hell you say it, is lurking in the background. And they plant Trick through the table, but then the Temu Shield shows up and just does that. They lay out Santana and Hendry. So, Tony D has a Heritage Cup and throws it in the water. That's fitting. I've wanted to basically drown this gimmick. Obafemi against Yoshiki Inamura for the NXT Men's Championship. Inamura told Briggs, it's easier than saying Yoshiki, he told Josh Briggs, 1, take no for an answer, allegedly, and also I want to do this with honor. So you know what's going to happen. Briggs is going to try to interfere and say, no, I didn't do anything. Because who would not trust that face? In a police lineup, you actually would buy that face being there. So, Inamura wants to do it with honor. Oba and him just traded chops and strikes and some good power. Inamura was a little bit faster, but still is a big guy. I have not seen a bunch of him, but what I have seen, he's impressive. He can do stuff. He's on loan from Noah, apparently. And we did get a nice German. That was impressive. We then got a ref bump. Briggs ends up hitting Oba with the title. And Inamura is going for something. And then, Briggs is like celebrating because he's about to win. But Inamura sees the title in his hand. Says, what the fuck? I wanted to do this with honor. But splash from halfway across the ring. That was impressive. That's some good height on that shit. And then we get a pump handle bomb for 2. And then eventually Briggs got laid out. And we got, after he was trying to hand his chain to Inamura. And eventually the fall from Grace powerbomb. 1, 2, 3. Oba pins Inamura. In my favorite match on the show, to be perfectly honest. They stole the show as petty theft, but still. And it accomplished what it needed to in about 13 to 14 minutes. And that was fine. Ava, being very authoritative over Trick. Hey, Dark State, has something to do with you, right? No. Oh, you can team up with Santana and Hendry against Temu Shield. Sarah's with Oba, and basically he says he'll give Inamura another shot, but Briggs wants a shot because he doesn't feel Oba has any honor. Yeah, Briggs deflecting, like people like that allegedly do. All right, Jordan Grace got to the ring, and Blake Monroe's apparently her in-ring debut, at least on TV. Because I know she just showed up recently. I guess she has not competed on NXT Weekly television. I know she competed at house shows, what limited house shows they run. Okay, I hope that Blake Monroe, a.k.a. Mariah May, is happy with what she's doing. I hope it's her dream to act like a Barbie doll. I don't like this. I think that this is goofy. People say it's like Sabrina Carpenter. See, Sabrina Carpenter's gimmick, persona, presentation works as a musician. It doesn't really work here because it's such a contrast. Mariah is a beautiful woman. Girly girl, whatever. I don't give a shit. It's none of my business at the end of the day. But I don't personally care for how she's being presented here. JC Jane and Fallon Henley looking great as always, and Jasmine was also there. More on Jasmine here in a bit. But boy, more on Jasmine here in a bit. Good God. There are just some things. Let's just move on. This is Hype for Evolution 2 with Grace and JC competing for the NXT Women's Championship, where the winner faces Masha Slamovich. More on her also in a minute. It was a standard match. It wasn't bad. I think it went 5 minutes longer than it needed to. I don't know if this needed to main event, but then again, I guess I get why, given the fact they want to push to Evolution 2. It just felt it went a few minutes too long. Jasmine practically was asleep to do this spot where she had to run over like about 500 yards. It was only like maybe about 20 feet. But boom. Hit Mariah, I'm just going to keep calling her Mariah for a while, but hit Blake with a goddamn forearm. Good job there. I know that it's tough. It's live programming. I get it. I have not seen Jasmine do a lot of stuff where she has not looked really confused, and she hasn't wrestled much on these events because she was either in a face mask or not really doing much, and maybe if she's injured, okay, they're trying to keep her on, but sometimes things just don't work out. Jordan is good, but she's going to be exposed in this talent pool. She is good for a small company. She is not as great as people say. I think she has moments, she has flashes, but also a prime example of why you don't do those kind of supplements, folks. And that goes for anybody. It goes for anybody in wrestling. It kept going. We go to the stage. Fallon hit a very nice spear through the ropes. Fallon, if anything, got over with me a whole lot more here, and I've been praising Fallon pretty much since she was Tesha Price, easy for me to say, on AEW Dark and Dark Elevation. So I'm glad to see she's getting more time. She had time as the NXT North American Women's Champion. She's done good stuff, and she really got a chance to shine here. Jasmine, again, doing a distraction spot, trying to, good God, just fucking watch some wrestling programming, watch some tapes, watch something on TikTok. I don't care, but just, God damn it. Masha Slamovich attacked Jasmine, and they fought off. They just fought off over there. And then eventually, we got a DDT for 3 by Blake on JC. So, looks like my idea of possibly Jordan Grace winning and Blake immediately attacking her is looking to come to fruition. Possibly. There was no tension, but I guarantee we're going to see something. So yeah, that was NXT Great American Bash. It was an alright show. I'm not going to watch NXT weekly, but I don't mind tuning in for these. It was an enjoyable show, except for Booker's commentary. You fucking blithering idiot. You don't deserve to have a commentary spot because you're really fucking bad at it. Agree, disagree with what I said? Like, share, subscribe, Twitter, Letterboxd, Blue Sky handles in the description. I'm John Ritland. Until we meet again at Evolution 2 in a couple hours, happy trails to you.